This is Matthew McConaughey.
Natalie Portman.
James Patterson.
Michael Ian Black.
And you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan
Schawbel.
Bill, welcome to Five Questions.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have me, D. I'm really excited to be here. This is a moment that I'm just really can't believe it's finally happened. Like now I'm an author. Like who thought a comedian could be an author?
Hey, anything's possible. Well,
Exactly, right?
most people don't know this, but your cousin is Shaquille O'Neal. How have you both
Yeah.
supported each other throughout your careers?
Yeah, it's really been interesting, man. We a lot actually, you know what I'm saying? Especially, when Shaq was playing and like it was more obvious, we did so many different things together, Reebok campaign, Pepsi, and party, all the good stuff that, young people do. And then, once we started having our families, basketball players keep getting moved around. I've been in LA the whole ride. I was actually happy when Shaq was here with the Lakers because we hung out all the time. He'd come by, I go over his house and stuff like that.
You got some
So
good
now
seats.
yeah, I got good seats. So now it's just like we text, we say what's up, we Zoom, we do all that good stuff, man. So I love him to death, and what he's done after basketball is just phenomenal. Like him and Magic, I mean, those guys just take retirement to another level.
I mean, Magic was with everything, with buying all those Starbucks, and I mean,
Yeah,
his
it's
business
just
career is
like,
remarkable.
I mean, Shaq is selling chicken now. I'm like, okay.
You could probably sell anything.
Right. I mean, he's like carnival man. He's on the cruise ships. He's got insurance. He's selling chicken sandwiches. I'm proud of him.
Now he's just got to sell your book. I mean, that's the
Right,
next thing
right.
he's
I
got to
just gotta
sort
sell
out,
the
right?
book. Yeah. Help me
Exactly.
out. Help me out, bro.
How did you get your dream job of being a MTV host and then expand to multiple shows in the network?
Well, that's a very interesting story because it was just serendipitous that I got that job because I was ideally in the right place at the right time. I was a comic in New York City and, trying to become something. And they had a showcase at Boston Comedy Club, and Barry Katz had invited me to this showcase. He was like, Bill, you got to come over to New York tonight. There's going to be some really cool people in the building. And he didn't really tell me who. He was just like, hey, man, just come check it out. And one of the cool people in the building was this lady named Tracy Jordan, who basically, she discovered me for on-air talent. She gave me that opportunity, gave me like after my set, she was like, you're really good, you're funny, and I think that you got something. Do you want to come to MTV and do like a screen test? So I was like, what the hell is a screen test? I didn't even, and I went from doing stand-up comedy in a small little room to introducing videos overnight. And that was a job like no one heard of at the time, like a video jockey. It's basically like a on-air radio personality. So, I took that job by storm. I went from just hosting my show to hosting all the big shows on the network.
Because you were so good at hosting your show that they're like, well, we're exploding too, because you were growing as MTV was kind of the cultural epicenter of
Yeah,
America, right?
it was you got to think about this. This is why I think people are going to love my book when they read it, because you don't realize how special that time was until you go backwards, right? And what was so beautiful about that moment in the 90s was like everything was new. They were taking chances, and there was different types of music that was coming up that was never ever on TV before. You got grunge coming out of nowhere. Of course, you got the rock bands, but then you got new bands like No Doubt. You got Sugar Ray. You got Alanis Morissette. You got Blind Melon, Snoop, Ice Cube. You had the whole West Coast thing going on where all these new artists like Domino was getting a chance, Coolio. Then you have obviously the traditional, like the Madonnas. I'm getting a chance to meet a Madonna and a Kurt Cobain. I'm like, oh my God, in one day. It was crazy.
Yeah, you probably pinch yourself a lot. Your skin probably hurt. You
Dude,
probably had to go to the
I was
doctor.
tripping. I remember when I interviewed Keanu Reeves and I was like, you are Neo?
I wonder if you ever got desensitized to it just from being around it so often. You're like, oh, it's just another celebrity.
No, no, I think what it was that to be honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store because these were people that are very famous that I used to see. I never thought I would meet them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to meet these famous people that I see in movies or I see them as athletes or stars and stuff? Next thing you know, they're sitting there talking to me, promoting their project. That's why I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And everybody used to say to me, man, I want to be Bill Bellamy. I want to be Bill. How did you get that job? You know what I'm saying? They used to always say that.
Yeah, I never really understood that growing up, even watching MTV or any late night show. Oh, why is this celebrity going on here? What's in it for them? Obviously now as a business person, I understand the whole game and hosting my own podcast and various other things that I do. But
Right,
you've interviewed a ton of celebrities, way more than I have, I'm sure.
right.
What did you learn? Who did you learn the most from and why?
Let me say, who did I learn the most from? I would say, I would say Michael Jackson. And I'm gonna say this is what I learned from Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had like two personas. Like he had the persona of like the gentle, sort of kind of like quiet guy. And then he turned in Superman on stage. It was unbelievable. Like you see this guy right here who's soft spoken, who's very shy, and he, sort of kind of like
It's like a
I
switch,
don't,
right? Like a
yeah,
switch
it was
is
so
is
weird.
flicked and he turns into a
Yo,
performer.
when they say 1, 2, 3, go, Michael Jackson would turn into he pull off Superman and like perform on a level that like if the scale was 1 to 10, he's at 25. I'm like, yo. And he taught me that, there is levels to it. Like, you got to, for your fans, you got to go all the way in. You got to be perfect. You got to, work hard at it. You got to get your dance moves down. You got to, which me, get my jokes together, make sure I show up on time, make sure I'm professional, be an entertainer. That's what I learned from Michael Jackson. It's like being an entertainer. And you do it to your best ability. Like, like it's a blessing, that it's a gift and you share it with the world.
And it seems like you're a little bit different than that. It seems like you're more kind of level. This is who you are. Maybe you turn it up a bit, but this is because you're
Well,
kind of always
go ahead.
performing and doing different things, but it's a little bit more
Yeah,
personality driven rather than,
yeah. Like
dancing and singing.
I think for me, if there was anything that I could compare it to, it's like doing stand up. Like when I'm on stage as a comedian, as a comic, as a guy who's telling jokes, I take it to the 20th level, right? Because I feel like people want to laugh. I want people to relax. I want people to forget about their bills and the kids and all that stuff for a moment and have a good time. So I'm sort of like the beacon for the fun. So I turn it all the way up. But my other things like my book, my podcast, my movies, depending on the role that I take, I'm able to put different pieces of me in it. Sometimes they're not, a comedic role. Sometimes it might be a little more dramatic, right? So I'm able to channel whatever that emotion is.
Yeah, that in itself is a talent.
Yeah.
What are some of the unique challenges of being an entertainer today compared to when you were first coming up?
Privacy. I don't think we have any more privacy anymore. I mean, it used to be sort of mysterious to be a star. It used to be mysterious to be a celebrity. Now, when you are a celebrity, you have to engage with your fans in a way that we never used to have to before. You never would see back in the day Janet Jackson on Instagram. You would never see that. Like you like, is Janet on Instagram? Hey.
The expectation has changed. Now the fans
Yeah,
expect you to be on it, and the labels expect you, agents, everyone
yeah,
expects you to be on it. It's like part of the
yeah.
offering too, because if you have like millions of fans, maybe you get paid more to be in a movie or get opportunities.
Correct. So now it's a part of your portfolio. And when I was coming up in, in the 90s and stuff like that, we had so much freedom to have fun, make mistakes. Maybe if you said something and it didn't go anywhere. You just made a mistake and said something slick, or you said a joke but now you say one thing. I mean, you got to think about when you wake up, you got to wipe your eyes, and before you even start talking, you got to think about what you're going to say, because if you say something that doesn't hit right and it goes viral now, oh my
Or if you
God.
said something 15 years ago and you
And
forgot about it, it might come
yeah,
out to hurt you now.
exactly. So, it's a double-edged sword, I guess, you know, celebrity and social media.
Definitely. And what's your best piece of career advice?
My best career advice is believe in yourself. Be your biggest champion. Everyone will not be on your page, but you have to. It starts with you. And the people that doubt you will become your biggest fans.
Yeah. And if you believe in yourself and invest in yourself first, other people will start to buy into what you have to offer, and your
Absolutely.
confidence will radiate.
Absolutely. You just got to dive into you. If you would have told me 20 years ago that today I would be an author, I didn't see that coming. What I did see coming was that I was going to be a star and I was going to make a difference in the world, and that I would have a name that people would know. I started there. I started with, one day I am going to be a star. I see myself not being just an average person. I want to be a superstar. So how do I do that? I started seeing myself, on a TV show. I start seeing myself on billboards before it even happened, and boom, bam, boom. Next thing you know, I'm looking at myself on a billboard going, that's crazy.
I love that. Well, that's great advice. And thank you so much for being on the show.